Welcome to the Master Dealmaker's Secrets podcast. And now, here's sales growth strategist, John Blake.
Welcome to Master Dealmaker Secrets. I'm John Blake. This is episode 43. And today we are going to be talking about a really important subject. This is the biggest mistake that I see business owners making over and over again when they decide to hire a salesperson. So this is really, really important. And so I think you're going to get a stack out of this particular episode. But first, if you have got lead flow and you're looking to convert more of those leads into sales, go over to johnblakeaudio.com and get your free audio training where I show you the exact strategy that I use to double sales with existing leads. I've done this time and time again with the clients that I work with. It's actually the first thing we do when I first start working with a client is look at what they've already got in their funnel and look at how we can convert more of those leads. And then once they've got that system, they can implement it on an ongoing basis and it can create a massive shift in your conversions. So this is the exact same strategy that I teach my year-long clients that I work with. It produces consistent results, and that's what you want in your business, consistency. So head over to johnblakeaudio.com to download the audio training today and get the exact scripts on what to say when you leave a message for somebody that hasn't converted yet and what to write to them in terms of emails and the actual framework that shows you when to send emails, when to ring so that you don't upset anyone, but you are still perceived as professional and you can be persistent enough to get them across the line and into a paying client. So head over there at johnblakeaudio.com and I'm sure you'll get a stack out of it. Okay, so the biggest mistake that business owners make when they hire. Now, I've seen this happen a few times. I saw it happen a few times, and then I've seen it played out time and time and time again. And it's so sad. And so I'm going to explain to you the scenario, the pattern that I see, and then I'm going to give you some specific things that you can do to stop it happening for you, right? So here's the scenario. So you've got somebody who has a business. They might have, maybe one or two, salespeople. Perhaps those salespeople have been, or that business owner has, had the business for a long time, and he's still quite actively involved in sales, and they tend to get to a particular point. There's like this tipping point, where they've got a warm market, that an existing network that they're working with to produce some results, and they're getting some referrals, they're getting some repeat business. And what they're seeing is a fairly effortless type sales journey, a fairly effortless type sales scenario where they're converting high numbers of the meetings that they're having into paying clients, and they are, they're confident and it has taken them to a certain point in the business. But this is this tipping point, and it's really crucial. And like I said, I've seen this happen and have had to go in and fix this time and time again. So what they then do is they say, right, I'm going to hire a salesperson. And so they go and find a salesperson, and they realize that they've actually got to, if they want somebody who's, relatively good, they're probably going to have to pay them somewhere in the vicinity of, 70, 80, maybe $100,000, depending on the actual business or industry that they're in. So they hire this salesperson. And this is where the problems start, because often they don't have systems. And when I say systems, I mean, what is the sales process that this particular salesperson is meant to use? So often the salesperson will just rock up and they'll just use whatever, habits that they've brought with them from their previous employment. Often there can be a problem in the selection of that particular person right from the very beginning. They might have hired the wrong person. So selection, you need to have a system to select the right people if you are going to get a result. I always say to people, especially in Australia, if you're going to pay a full-time employee, you want to make sure that you have got the best person, right? The best person who's available, which is it's a different subject for a different podcast in terms of recruitment. But so system for selection, most definitely. System for inducting that person. Now, what I mean by that is you want somebody to be brought up to speed in terms of their confidence in how to sell your product, and you want them to be kicking goals within a specific time frame. There's nothing more soul destroying for a salesperson to have been in a job for 4 months, 3, 4, 5 months, and to have not sold anything. It is such a massive blow to their confidence. So you need a system that trains them up and gets them to a point where they are making sales within a particular period of time, and where you can frame that for them, and you can say, right, so this is your induction program. For the first 30 days, we're going to be focusing on you learning the product. For the second 30 days, we're going to introduce it to some existing clients. I mean, this is just off the top of my head, but it would be relatively accurate in terms of how we would bring somebody up to speed. Whereby, okay, at the end of month 3, you should have made your first sale. Or at the end of month 2, you should have made your first sale. We'll introduce you to some of our warm leads and you should have made your first sale. So instead, what happens is you get this guy who has started up, and they've obviously got the best of intentions to get out there and do well, but often they've got no leads, so they're having to cold call or they're having to generate their own leads, and they're kind of left, flapping around to their own devices, and they don't make sales. So 1, they start to develop bad habits. 2, they're not making any sales, so they're actually costing the business money. And what tends to happen is that these salespeople will start to actually, they'll be selling, but they'll actually be selling the business owner on why they aren't making sales. And so, one thing leads to another, and 9, 10, 11, and 12 months down the track, they haven't sold anything, and they've cost the business like $80,000. And that can bring a business to its knees. An $80,000 cost for a salesperson who's not making any sales can literally bring a business to its knees in terms of its profitability. And I see this happening all the time. And it's really, really sad. And there's a pattern here. There's this leap, this transition between, working out that you want to, delegate the sales function to somebody, but you need to have a process, a selection process, like I said, an induction process that brings them up to speed, gets them selling within a particular time frame. And you need to have a system for ongoing motivation and management, because left to their own devices, they will develop bad habits. So what do you do? How do you do this, right? So to start off with, the best way to do this is to map the process. Now, often the process that the business owner uses, this is the other problem with this, is that if the business owner is getting relatively good results, and you were to ask that business owner, or perhaps the existing salesperson that's in that business, if you were to ask them what they're doing, they won't be able to tell you, because they're doing, in most cases, they're doing things intuitively, that they don't have a conscious awareness of the process that they're using. And the other thing happening here is that the business owner can get away with doing and saying things as the business owner that a salesperson can't. So, this is probably the number one focus for my business is helping people to get these systems in place so that they can hire a salesperson confidently, knowing that they're going to put them in front of a process that's going to give them a predictable result. So they can hire people confidently, so they can perhaps hire 1 or 2 or 3 salespeople and put them in front of a sales process that they know is going to produce a predictable result. So they can not only hire a salesperson with confidence, but they can also start to invest in marketing with confidence. So they can spend money on leads with confidence, knowing that they've got 1 or 2 or 3 salespeople that for every 10 leads that come in, they are going to predictably, on average, convert 3 to 4 out of those 10 inquiries into paying clients. So this is like I said, it's a massive thing. It's almost the number one focus of the problem that clients come to me with that I can help them to fix. But I wanted to bring some awareness in this because I see it all the time. People are like, oh, I'm going to hire a salesperson. It's like, okay, right. Have you got this in place? No. Have you got this in place? No. So having some awareness of that, I think will really help. If you do require some help with this, feel free to give me, drop me an email. Probably the best email to get me on is John, John, at john-blake.com.au, because I'd love to help you with this. I've done it a stack of times for a stack of different people, and I'm sure I can help.
You've been listening to Master Dealmaker's Secrets with John Blake. Subscribe to get more in-depth strategies to maximize your sales process with new episodes every week. And double your inquiry to sale conversion with the lead flow you already have. Go to johnblakeaudio.com for his exclusive free no-fluff audio training and companion PDF guide.